I grew up in this little small town in the middle of California called what? Pixley. Who's been to Pixley before? Yes, look, some of you have been to my house, right? No, really, like it's something that happens and hopefully it continues to happen. Ricky, you were at my house? Yes. Right, so Ricky knows. I grew up in this little town called Pixley, guys, and these are actual pictures. And I actually made sure to include my car. That way you guys know that that's me taking the picture, right? So guys, this is the water tower. It's that kind of town, right? We have water towers in these small towns. It's a town of 3,000 people, and that's what the sign says. But honestly, I've only seen about 3, so I don't know where the other 2,700 people are, right? But just to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like, that is one of the few apartment complexes, right? But you see, so this is the water tower and an apartment complex in my car. And then over here you have the Pixley Food Mart, which is like Super King over there, right? It's like Vallarta. And it's this little small food mart. But you see, like the background there is like open fields, right? That's Pixley. Like there's you know few hundred houses, but for the most part it's just open land. And so my parents still live in Pixley, so I always, I go visit. And the last time I visited, I drove around town really because my parents weren't home. So like I take this 2.5-hour drive. That's how long it takes to get there. And I get there, my parents aren't home. And so I'm like, okay, what do I do? And so I decide I'm going to cruise the town. So, I like lower the seat and I start bumping my music. And no one's outside, so it doesn't matter. But I'm bumping my music and I'm cruising. Did we lose it? Nope, go to the next one. Nope, go. Don't go that way, go the opposite way. All right, nope, don't ignore that. All right, right there. Nope. Okay, we'll just go there. All right, so I'm cruising around town, and guys, and I see that there's all these homes, right? All these homes that look like this. And here's the thing about this. This is the house that I grew up in. This is the house that I grew up in. I shared the story of my dad and how, he brought his family. This is the first home that he purchased, right? It's on the east side of town, and look at it. This is it, right? From birth to like 2nd grade, this is where I grew up. And it is now abandoned, right? That's an abandoned home. No one lives there. The door was open. I was thinking about walking inside, but I got freaked out. I couldn't do it. It's an abandoned home. And here's the truth. Like, one of the things that I realized in driving around, because I hadn't done that in a while, is there's like 25% of the homes look like this, right? And to me, whenever I see an abandoned home, that's a picture of like death. Like, that's a picture of like there's no life, right? Like, do you see life in that? No. And so here's where I'm getting at, guys. I grew up in this small town, and there was something in me that always wanted more. Everyone say more. There were so many hours, I'm talking hours, where I would sit in front of my house and I would think about another life. I would think about, man, I want to do more with my life. I want to get out of Pixley. Because Pixley is awesome. Like, Pixley is where I grew up and I rep it. But it is a place where some people just get stuck. How many of you know people have just been stuck? And their life is almost like this abandoned home where there's not much going on. It looks dead. And so this town, it can trap people. Like, there are people that I grew up with that I see and I hear of, and they are doing the same thing that they were when I knew them, 15, 20 years ago. And so I grew up in a situation where I could have just settled and lived a life of this. Like, this could have been my life. But I decided that I was going to make choices and write my story with God's help ultimately, right? Write a different story. I didn't want this to be my story. I saw the older people in my neighborhood, and I just didn't want my life to be this. And so I made the decision to move out. And I'll share my story later, but I went to high school, and my focus was college, and I'll share my college story later. But anyways, my life has not been this. My life has been this. Let's go to the next bit. This is now my life. Boom. All right? No, that's not a model that I found off of Google. That's Mr. Carlos right there. Right? So I like this picture, one, because I look super fly, but two, because there's a huge city behind me. You guys know what city that is? Anyone want to guess? Is it Pacoima? No, it's not Pacoima. LA, downtown LA. That's not downtown LA. Who wants to guess? Keep it coming. It's not Pismo. It's not Ohio. Who said Ohio? Compton, Fresno. You guys are off. Let's hear from the girls, because the guys are...
Los Santos.
What? That is the city of Seattle. Did you say that? Okay, sorry, I didn't hear you. That is Seattle. Now Seattle's an awesome city, but Seattle simply represents this large, thriving city. I mean, you live in LA. You know what it's like to be in an urban, thriving environment. Sure, there's a lot of bad stuff, but there is life in the city, right? And so what I'm trying to say is I grew up in this really small town, but the choices I've made have allowed me to experience more. They've allowed me to experience the greatness of cities, right? And this is just one of the many trips that I've been blessed to do. This is a trip that I took in March. Me and my boys, we got on a plane. We went to Oregon, and then we went to Seattle, and we just went, ate, played, and then I modeled for a minute, right? But the reason why I'm experiencing this, number one, by the grace of God, but number two, because I've made choices. So you guys ready for the secret?
Yeah.
Right? The secret to choosing your story is making one good choice at a time. Right? Did you guys expect something way more complex, right? No, that's it though. Think about it. Right? What do you want your life story to be? What are some things that you want to experience? Right? When you think about your life in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, what do you want it to be? I don't care. I do care, but it doesn't matter. It does matter. Whatever you're thinking of, you're going to get there by just making one good choice at a time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just one good choice at a time. So here's a few choices I made. I chose in 6th grade, when my group of friends, I chose sports over gangs. I kid you not, guys. I was in a tight group of 12 kids that grew up in the same town. And something happened in 6th grade where some of us decided to be jocks and some of us decided to gangbang. That was the decision we made. We all had the same influence. My older brother was in a gang. Right? And so that decision, I'm gonna play on the basketball team instead of kicking it with the homies. One good decision, right? When I went to high school, it was I'm gonna study, I'm gonna get good grades, I'm not gonna ditch. One good decision. When it came to after high school, I could have worked, I could have went and got a job, but I decided, no, I'm gonna go to college. One good decision, right? And it goes on, and it continues. Have I made bad decisions? Yes. Could my life be better? Yes. Am I content? Yes. And so for you, I don't know what that is. I don't know what decisions you're wrestling with nowadays. I don't know. Maybe, ladies, maybe it's dump them. Yeah. Can I talk to ladies? Maybe it's that dude that's just dragging you down. And you need to be able to decide, you know what? It's not love, it's lust. Right? It's not love, it's lust. And you need to also know, right, that you will find someone that will value you. He's not the only one that exists. And don't be afraid that if you dump him, you're going to be alone for the rest of your life. So maybe it's that. I don't know. Or maybe it's like your hair color. I don't know. What hair color you next? I don't know. And for the guys, maybe it's like, I'm going to spend less hours this year losing sleep, getting more sleep, that way I can get to school on time. Maybe it's that. That's not as exciting, right, fellas? Right? But here's my point, guys, and I'm going to end with this. Whatever your dream is, right, you're dreaming big. Whatever you want to experience in your life, you're going to get there by doing this. Just one good decision. Just one good decision. Right? Do you guys receive that?
Yes.
Okay.